Away, Legate! Your home welcomes you and both of your victorious legions. Death comes to us all eventually. All we can do is delay it. Sometimes not even that is possible. Leave ambition to my brothers. This is a comfortable post close to home and well paid too. I'm sure you have a lot of things to discuss before you disband. Let me know when you're ready to proceed.
Is it time? I've told you before, it is this idleness that bothers me. Can't we just quickly go in? I have things to do. Only if it leads to something. I don't like standing here and wasting time. I'll take it easy. This campaign made me realize there is a lot to learn. And while Syneros is a great magister, it is impossible for him to teach me everything. But he said if he teaches me how to fish, my problems will be solved. Perhaps I misunderstood. I am already skilled at fishing. But Magister rarely turns out to be wrong, so I am intrigued. Of course, what's not to like? We are the scourge of Egypt. We have slain all of our foes. They shall sing our names for years to come. I know you are not entirely happy about being saved by Lurko. Do not worry, though. Vengeance will be ours. Patience is the sharpest weapon of a hunter. And strike when the time is ripe.
Recent events are making me think about the way we're approaching our long-term problems. No matter what we do, our opponent seems to retain the upper hand. This is the second time he's accomplished the same trick. I think we now know the way he plays the game. We're clearly not playing by the same rules. It's for this reason that the game is not fair. We stop playing fair. Consider the Rubicon. No legatus is allowed to keep their command inside the Pomerium. The Legion shall always disband here, beyond these predefined borders. So it is written, so it shall be done. It doesn't matter why the rule exists. All that matters is that everyone obeys it. And because everyone obeys it, it exists. That makes us predictable. This is how Lurko always wins. He knows what our possible moves are, so he prepares himself accordingly. He plans for both outcomes, and controls the result either way. Now, consider the results of a commander crossing the Rubicon with his legion, ignoring the ancient law and the tradition. Certainly not. I was simply using as an example the absurdity of the notion, and the fact that Rome would be helpless against such a legion were it to just march through. Lurko exploits our adherence to established norms and patterns. As long as we're playing the same game, he wins. It would be wise to think about such matters. However, one should never break a rule one does not fully understand. My frail bones are in dire need of warm water and a well-executed massage. But I also have an interesting meeting to attend. Indeed, a lady who allegedly knows the solution to the one formula of Pythagoras. The one formula. The solution to all that was, all there is, and all there ever will be. Pythagoras famously believed that what we perceive is a mere reflection of a world of numbers, a world of conditions and formulaic instructions, a construct or a mere representation of a true reality that could easily be derived from one formula. He who knows the formula knows all. I have little to lose. Egypt represents a clear victory. With Cleopatra out of the picture, the Senate can surely be persuaded to grant rulership of the area to you. I do think he will try to present our victory as his, thereby solidifying his claim for consulship. It is unlikely they would let him have Egypt, though.
Do not worry. I will not ask to live with you again this time. There is important thing I must do anyway. I need to find man who killed my sister, Silvius. Habron said he is important member of Collegium Bacchus. If he is not here, he has cause to return at least. And when he does, I will be waiting. I am not sure yet. I will see what he does when he is found. It is best to not involve you, but thank you for offering. You can count on that, at least.
Let's get this over with. Where to even start? I served with Lucullus for the majority of my life. In a way, he turned me into the man I am today. In return, I caused his death. He would have been alive today if we hadn't delayed our departure for the sake of fixing my mistakes. I'm nothing but a disappointment. Lucullus didn't care for vengeance, I think. But he did value order, and we brought the peace of Rome to Egypt. He would be proud of that. But somehow I feel like I failed in that big quest that is my life. I should have been more important, more significant. That is a fine lie. I will keep telling that to myself. Perhaps in time, I'll end up believing it. Probably. But not for the reasons you might think. Well, in that case, maybe I'm not the Kaiser you know anymore. Let us hope I have changed for the better then. I shall try not to disappoint you. It certainly ended better than it started. It's a shame the Queen did not survive. Nevertheless, I wish we were able to save Lucullus. If only we had departed a day earlier. Certainly not. Well, probably not. I don't know. There's something I need to handle now that we're back. I may call on you if I need your help, but hopefully it won't come to that.
Last time we stood here with a legion, we had Lucullus with us. I know he was your Patronus, but the man was like a father to me. We will. I will. I hate to be back in this shithole of shit. To you, probably. You're back home as a victorious commander, and I'm back home as... not myself. I don't know yet. There's a lot I need to take care of. Don't worry, though. I'll save your ass when it needs saving. Aww, that warms my cold black heart. I'm not really sure about that. We have denied Lurko the control of Egypt, but we also made him look like a hero. Let us hope you're right, for everyone's sake.
Time to disband, Legate? You will always be a warrior at heart. Now it's time to be a citizen.
Good morning, Domina. You spent longer than usual getting ready today. It is wise to allow your body some time to heal. Fortunately, there are a lot of mundane, everyday tasks for you to take care of today. We have some outstanding debts. There's the issue of inheritance. The kitchen needs to know what you wish to eat today. Finally, the wine you have ordered has arrived. The mourners, they require their due payment. Additionally, one of them has severely injured herself during the funeral. She is in need of medical attention. She tore her own hair off, and fortunately, it turns out her hair was rather sturdy. Consequently, she partially scalped herself in the process. We did call some of the best mourners in the business. Understood. I'll make sure she receives the best care. A slight understatement. His library and his 2 summer villas belong to you now. But the rights need to be officially transferred, and therein we run into some problems. Despite your station as the owner of this villa and as a temporary head of this family, you can't acquire additional property. Lucullus anticipated this and left everything to your husband. It may be a good idea to accelerate your plans. Having a husband would eliminate a lot of potential problems. A sensible thought, Domina. It is boar season. We should buy a few and keep them in stock. Flavius says the mussel harvest was pretty good too, if you fancy seafood. Last but not least, I can order a variety of fruits for you. It will prove to be a good investment. Indeed? I was wondering about that. I assumed you were sampling the competition. Well, they have brought it to the study. We shall inspect the item. Perhaps it was intended for someone else. That never crossed my mind. I apologize. I'll bring your arms at once.
Do you need me?
Is everything well, dear?
I expected a slightly warmer welcome. I assure you there is no need for you to brandish that knife. Someone you'd prefer to see in my stead? The pleasure is all mine. I do owe you an explanation. Well, Legate, or should I call you Legater? Evidently an oversight. You have aptly displayed the necessity for it. I've come to visit you out of curiosity. In my experience, curiosity is rarely dangerous on its own. The danger comes from what you do with the knowledge. Your reputation preceded your arrival in Rome. Both optimates and populares were intrigued by the deeds of this mysterious protégé of Lucullus. A prime candidate for senatorship, some said, while others saw you as a potential foe. None expected you to be a woman. In that way, and others. Shall we talk in a more private setting? I'm rather tired of standing around. Nothing could be further from the truth. I enjoy seafood if I have the option. I've heard a lot about your mother's cooking.
Under the circumstances, it might turn out to be disappointing. I shall strive for perfection nevertheless.
May I ask you a question? It would not, but it is still polite to ask first. Why do you do all of this? Your personal problems were solved after the Asia campaign. Why risk everything again in Africa? You could have stayed home. Loyalty is an admirable virtue. One must also be loyal to oneself, though. You are not a servant of Lucullus. And you were ethically obligated to help. I wonder what you would have done if you were not. And after all of this is done, what would you like to do, ideally? Surely you jest. I will not mince my words. This is a man's world. But I believe that can prove to be an advantage for you. I'm pretty sure many people had their own assumptions based on their rigid minds and thoughts. Yet you have changed the expected course of events. It is intriguing. I can't even begin to guess how many secrets you're still keeping. Never said no to a good read. So far, the story's quite engaging. I'm very much interested in finding out more about you. Shall we continue this conversation over dinner? I'm famished. This is no food. It's an edible poem. I'm sad to have reached the finale. A craftsman of the highest caliber. There must be many people trying to buy him off you. How do you resist? Loyalty to one's subjects is one of the most important of virtues. I admire your integrity. It's getting late. Your Zoe seem tired and you look ill at ease. What's on your mind? That does explain how you achieve such unbelievable things. Success, it seems, goes through the stomach. Fortunately, I am not just anyone. Good company makes the food taste sweeter. Here's my first offer. I think we shall finish this flask in a more private setting. I'm sure there's a lot more you can show me. That's regrettable. Perhaps I have misread the mood. Still, I have enjoyed this evening. It was a welcome change of pace. Oh well. Fortunately, I have a second proposal, if you'll indulge me. You have displayed your aptitude for command and politics, and I admire your personality. But whatever your plans are, they will be difficult to bring to fruition as a woman. Certain things cannot legally be done by you. Ordinarily, an honourable man would not exploit such hardships. But few men are honourable. People are sure to interpret your situation as a weakness and take advantage. I am an honourable man. Let us get married. Think of it as a business arrangement. That is unfortunate. But I thank you for being honest about it. I shall preserve my dignity and not press the issue further. This has been an interesting encounter, to say the least. Thank you for everything you have done for me. If there's nothing else to do here, I'm afraid I have to retire now. Best of luck to you. I'm sure our paths will cross again.
Good morning.
Domina?
Statius nearly dropped an amphora full of olive oil in the triclinium. Oh, that boy will be the death of me.
Stable master had 2 horses in need of new shoes. Go with him to see Sextus, near the Forum, tomorrow. Salve. I see you're on your way out. Glad I caught you. In this case, it is I who is here to help you. Or, rather, your friend. Julia Calida has got herself into a great deal of trouble, and she has beseeched me to lend her my legal counsel. I told her I would represent her as a favor to you, if you are willing to owe me. For reasons that will become apparent, your friend is forced to maintain a low profile at the moment. She has chosen a discreet meeting spot, near the market. Please meet us there today, and she will explain the details of her predicament.
Did you hear? We have taken control of Egypt. If you ask me, it was long overdue.
Now, if the bread continues to be stale, we have only our own bakers to blame.
Clean linen for bandages? Fresh medicinal herbs? Salve, Legate. Welcome back. Is there anything you need? Of that, I have plenty. How many do you need? Linen is not so difficult to find, but if you do find yourself short on it, I will still be here.
Salve, Domina. How can I be of assistance? That's right. Do you know my father? Oh, that's right. He's told us a lot about you. Please wait here. I'll go get him.
Legate, it's good to see you out of your uniform again. How is civilian life treating you this time? Indeed I have. My family must eat. She is. She is the youngest of the clutch. I tell her she should find a nice rich patrician boy to marry, but she insists she enjoys helping me sell what I make. It has been better, but it has also been worse. There will always be people in need of horseshoes and kitchen pots. Only the best things. You are held in great esteem in my household. For you, it would have to be something prestigious. Tell me, have you heard of a Parazonium? The very same. You have managed just fine through 2 campaigns without it, but if nothing else, I'd say you've earned the right to wield such a blade. What say you? I can sell you one that you'll be proud to show off. It's a symbol of prestige more than anything. Jewelry for a great soldier. To tell you the truth, I have one almost finished. It was ordered for the scion of another patrician house who was going to be a tribunus under Crassus. The young fool bedded the wrong girl and was stripped of his military commission, and the order was cancelled. If you'll wait for an hour, I will personalize it for you and finish the work. Ah, good, you're back. The Parazonium is finished. I engraved your initials on the hilt and got it nice and sharp for you. A well-tempered and carburized blade, if I do say so myself. In a manner of speaking, as long as the men believe it, they will fight all the fiercer when you are near. It was good to see you again, Legate, but if that'll be all, I must get back to work.
My cousin was at Alexandria, you know, on one of Vitellius Lurco's ships.
How did they manage to take the city?
The ships arrived just in the nick of time. Apparently the legions were nearly routed.
You look like you've been sleeping poorly. Is something wrong?
It's kind of you to ask. My husband has fallen ill.
That's right, you told me last time we met. Has he not improved?
He's only got worse. We had to leave him with the Medici at the clinic.
I'm so sorry. I will pray for him at the Temple of Apollo Medicus tonight.
Finally! Mecasta! I was starting to think you wouldn't come.
There she is, the woman of the hour.
I need your help. They will kill me. I need someone to defend me at the court tomorrow. It's a long story. What do you want to know? Feels like a lifetime ago. Before I joined the Legion, I killed my husband. Sort of. People were looking for me, and I was on the run. I could have found other places to hide, but I chose the Legion because the life appealed to me. Then Lucullus, he saw me for what I truly was. And he allowed me to be that person. That was the first time I experienced freedom. And freedom to die on my own terms, knowing that whatever happens to me is because of my decisions. It's not that easy. No matter how far I try to run, my past keeps catching up with me. Julius Calidus is a warrior of renown in the Legion, and he has slain countless men. He's a hero, Julia Calida has slain only one man. She is a murderer. And whenever I enter Rome, I turn back into Julia, the husband killer. He was an extremely controlling man. I couldn't leave the villa except in his company. Everything about how I dressed, who was allowed to visit me, all was decided by him. I couldn't live that way. We fought about it all the time. One of those fights took place atop the grand staircase. It got very heated. I pushed him. I was the one who decided to involve you in this mess. You deserve the full story. This whole thing is their fault. When my brother Aulus finally invited me to dinner, I thought everything was going to be fine. Not exactly. They were setting me up for another marriage. Can you believe it? Everything was fine at first, and Aulus was speaking up for me. Now that my father is dead, he is pater familias after all. Then suddenly, this ridiculous mule walks in. Burienus Crispus. Hey, not fair. But... I don't know. Am I a woman who kills her husbands? Is this who I am?
So far, you've killed only one husband. I believe, statistically speaking, that counts as an outlier.
Rome. Look. I am a murderer. And I thought we were over this with my family, but... It wasn't even my fault. It was an accident. But Mother doesn't believe me. The moment I refused this new marriage they set up for me, Mother turned me in. I barely escaped. Thank you. I hadn't noticed. Any other brilliant observations you want to share with the class?
Your emotions are understandably frayed, Domina. But please do remember who your friends are in this trying time.
There will be a hearing tomorrow where they will try me for the murder of my late husband. I may be sentenced to death. I need Cicero to advocate on my behalf.
Mariticide. It's a difficult situation. Was he a particularly cruel man?
Not by Roman standards.
I would certainly not use that line in front of the public. Please answer my question.
He was a bit full of himself. But actually, he didn't really do anything bad to me.
He didn't even whip you a little bit?
You think he could have?
Indeed not. A pity. This makes defense difficult.
Maybe you're right. But then I will be on the run for the rest of my life.
A great deal. You would be in my debt. It's a very complex case, and success is not guaranteed. You do have the respect of many who served under you. I will count on you to exert your influence when I run for consul in a few years' time.
Thank you. It would be impossible to repay you, but this means a lot to me. I feel like I'm multiple people in one. Julia Calida the warrior, and Julia Calida the murderer. I don't really know which one I am, but I can't be both.
We will see what happens. Walete. Don't be late tomorrow.
Personally, I hope Polybius is elected Aedile. He makes fine bread.
Good bread hardly makes a man qualified for Aedile. Personally, my vote is for Wattia.
You only say that because your Collegium recommends him.
Nonsense! I think he's worthy of the city.
Is your back giving you trouble? My wife is a trained masseuse.
I will not tolerate these hijinks in my court. Both parties to this case have selected me as your Iudex Privatus. Show some respect, or go find someone else to preside. Is that clear? Let us continue then. To the accused, I pose this question. Why did you kill your husband?
Be very careful, Calida. I am here to argue on your behalf, but your answers will ultimately determine your fate.
Nevertheless, that was the outcome.
Intentions do matter. Many healers, in trying to cure a sickness, end up killing the patient. Does that mean the healer is a murderer?
What's your point, Senator? Was she trying to heal her husband? Your client isn't known as a healer.
Certainly not. She's one of the most capable warriors of Legio Victrix. We know she is capable of killing a man like her late husband. However, her capabilities alone do not constitute evidence.
Intentions. Very well. Let us assume that death was accidental. Was she loyal to her husband?
Is that why you killed him, dear?
Must we endure constant heckling by the accused's mother?
It almost feels like you want your daughter convicted, Domina. Was it you who called on the court?
It was not. I did. I am the pater familias. And your legatus is using you. What's the difference?
I do not understand exactly how you ended up in the Legion. Are they drafting women now?
He's questioning your character. That was artfully done. You didn't speak an uncomfortable truth, but you also did not lie.
Lucullus was a great imperator. If he picked you, he obviously must have seen something we do not. I think you are a dishonest person by nature, but Lucullus, I would trust even in death. I'm growing tired of this proceeding, and frankly, I've more or less made up my mind. Would the parties please repeat their demands?
We want her executed or exiled for her crimes against our family.
And we want her exonerated and free to walk the streets of Rome. I would ask the honored Iudex to take into consideration that my client was once a friend of your nephew, Julius Caesar.
Very well. Since the incident in question happened years ago, evidence is in short supply. Thus, I must decide based on my own observations. Despite her generally deceptive personality and her unwomanly profession, I have concluded with reasonable certainty that Julia Calida is not guilty. I have found myself unable to decide without a shadow of a doubt, and doubt should benefit the accused. You are free, Domina.
Congratulations. I believe my work here is done.
You know I had no choice, sister. It was my duty. But despite it all, I am glad you're free. I will resolve to be a better man.
The great Gaeso Quinctius Aquilinus. Your reputation precedes you. They tell me you're here on business. So, let's discuss business. Indeed. I think I know who you're talking about. You seem to have an inexplicable soft spot for this girl. Curiously, I don't think you even know her name. I see. That sounds very important indeed. She must be quite valuable to you. This sets the price at an extremely high level. Too high for you, I'm afraid. Indeed. Your rich patrician friend, the conqueror of Africa. Her vineyard has risen to quite a bit of fame over these past few years. The chance to make a competitor go bankrupt. Now, that is valuable to me. I have both money and time. Salve, Legate. I hope you have been informed as to the nature of our potential transaction. Go ahead. Oh. Well, I must admit, your own wine has been improving steadily since you took control of your family's business. In fact, I'm thinking I can be persuaded to part with Lucia, the sewer in question, in exchange for, say, half your vineyards. How does that sound?
What? That is insane! It's not a fair price for anything! Surely you won't go ahead with this, Legate.
It's called negotiation. Of course you are free to make a counteroffer, but I should remind you, as the owner of the object of desire, I have the advantage in this game.
The price you demand is excessive. Demanding an overwhelmingly high price for a commodity of a certain value is illegal.
Now, if you believe the law is on your side, you can take this to the Senate. Otherwise, I have made my offer. I see. And let me guess. The easy way is I just hand over my valuable assets to you for nothing, and the hard way is what? You attack me in my own villa?
Certainly not. That would lower us to his level. We're not criminals. You can't wash dirt using dirt.
How do you even know about my side business? You certainly wouldn't dare.
To be honest, I don't really know if she is telling the truth. But I know for sure that she would dare.
Very well. Take the girls. Just leave me alone. I never want to see you again.
Likewise. You didn't actually have any evidence against him, did you? You made me partner to your crime. He who doesn't stop a crime is equally at fault.
Please don't be so harsh on yourselves, Dominique. You've saved my life today. And the life of my daughter.
I hope you're right, Lucia. Go pick your girl up and take her to my friend's villa.
As you wish, Dominus.
Just Cicero, please. Thank you for being here for me.
Hercules! What have you done? Silvius! Who are you? Why did you kill that man? No more blood needs to be spilled here. Please, just tell us what you want. Well, that does not sound like something I would do. How long ago was this? We're just a group of regular citizens who gather regularly to enjoy the finer things in life. Nobody is hurt, I swear on Juno Caprotina. The women are here by their own choice. The Senate has outlawed our gatherings, it's true, but only because they don't understand. They've given in to populist sentiment and slanderous rumors, that's all. Nothing we do here is wrong. Listen, I'm certain we can come to some sort of agreement. You are bereaved. Do you seek compensation? Get your hands off me! The bitch killed Silvius! She's mad! Stop her!
You want to try me too? I will kill you all if I must.
Save yourselves! Get the lictors! Get anyone!
anyone!
Save yourselves! Get the lictors! Get anyone! Get the lictors! Get anyone! Save yourselves! Get the lictors! 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 Get anyone! Who took my bait? Save yourselves!
Don't hurt me, please! I would never. Find your clothes and get out.
Do you need me?
Our personal supply of darkest rose is almost depleted.
Shall I send for a few more barrels from the vineyard?
If they have any left, it is becoming a rare commodity. Excuse me.
We still have some reserved for this household, I believe.
Do you need me?
We are being summoned to appear at the court. You have committed a criminal offense, or so they claim. Both things can be true. Our actions sometimes cause harm to society, yet we may be unaware. Or perhaps you're being wrongfully accused. Only one way to find out. Someone must have suffered because of something you did. Frankly, there's no way to know unless we visit the magistrate. If we want to defend ourselves, certainly. To be technical, they cannot reach a decision in our absence. But lately, they have started interpreting silence as acceptance. I say it is best to be on the safe side. It is best not to ignore these things. The court may think of your silence as an acceptance of guilt. If you find yourself near the forum, you should talk to the magistrate. I will meet you there. It is irrelevant. A relationship with Cato could only serve you well. If you want to remain in the political game, you need a husband. I know you think so, but this is the way Rome works. You can only get so far by resisting its rules. Despite all of our efforts, he did really position himself well politically. I would not be surprised to see him become a consul soon. Then we should get ready for a disaster of epic proportions. Reasonably well, I think, under the circumstances. I have put the woman to work in the kitchen to distract her from her worries, but we are starting her out slowly. I may begin tutoring the girl when she's old enough, but let's see if I'll have time for that.
An auction of fine Serwe will be held tomorrow by the House of Vipsanius. Learned Greeks captured in the war against Mithridates. Strong-backed workers from Hispania and Mauritania. Vipsanius has Serwe for every budget!
Awe, thank you for coming. Hopefully this matter will be resolved quickly. An admirable quality fit for a true Roman. This is about your Servus, Secundus. It seems that last night he got quite drunk. In his intoxicated state, he got into a fight with another Servus.
With all due respect, Domina, that's hardly the most relevant question we can ask here.
On the contrary, it's actually a surprisingly relevant question. Not only did he win, he broke the other man's arm.
Oh.
He is your Servus, is he not? His actions fall under your purview and responsibility. It is not my place to tell you how you should handle your Servi. I am not a censor. Nevertheless, the punishment of your Servus is not the topic of this hearing. There's not much to say. The evidence is irrefutable. The other Servus was severely injured, costing his dominus valuable labor. Furthermore, there are criminal charges. This kind of violence is not to be tolerated. The sentence for the first offense will be mandatory. In total, this means you will have to pay 200 denarii to the offended dominus and 100 denarii to the state. Do you contest this ruling?
This is ill-advised.
On what basis are you contesting the ruling? Well, it is a relevant question, actually. Witnesses claim there was a heated exchange and some distasteful claims about the profession of your mother. No matter what the reason is, there is loss of labor. Perhaps some damage was still caused. There's nothing to be gained by resisting legal institutions. Well spoken. You clearly have a good understanding of how the legal process works. Enough talking. My decision is made. You've made a good case, and your arguments are solid. I can't ignore the damage your service has caused, but you will receive a reduced sentence. This time.
Have a nice day.
I've taken care of the payment. There's just one more matter we need to address. Secundus himself. An interesting decision. I will see to it that he's trained properly. Domina.
It really is a shame you and Cato could not come to an arrangement. He's such a fine young man. Don't go getting yourself married to some rough legionarius, you hear? Of course not, dear. But I beg you, just consider the standing of our family when you look for another suitor.